Hello, this is wmpyr. For today's lesson, we're going to be cross-training with boxing. So this is going to be a combination of boxing and eskrima. Normally, we get boxing principles and apply them to eskrima, but for today's video, we're actually going to be doing the opposite. We're getting eskrima principles and applying them to the boxing. All right, so the combo for today, we're going to be working on number 1, number 2, and back to 1. So it's a jab, cross, jab. Okay, it goes 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, shh, 1, 2, 1. All right, this is almost equivalent to our straight blast technique, which we go this way, but instead we're going to be doing jab, cross, and you could continue it. It could be a continuous motion, like so, but for the record, let's just go 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. So, shh, shh. All right, so here are some pointers. One way to do it is where we focus on the fist and the wrist area. So we're really going to go 1, 2, and 1. So it's really just here. It's not so much I'm throwing it from here, here, and here, but it's really so all the action is right here. This goes along very well with eskrima. We do stuff like this with the sticks where we start focusing more and more on the wrist type motion. A good fighter to watch who punches kind of like this is Nick Diaz. Okay, so he's going to have movements right here, and then you can see he'll throw it from here rather than from bringing it from here and throwing it like that. He can throw it from out here. Why? Because his body mechanics is so good that even if his arms are out here, he could still pull that off and still have the body mechanics. And maybe, you know, he's been criticized for not hitting hard, but once again, Joe Rogan said something like, if the guy hits you 4 or 5 times, that equals one strong hit. And the guy does hit people 4 or 5 times. So that's just one strategy to think about. All right, so once again, so in order to do that, don't start doing it here. Practice it properly from here, you know, from here, and then just go jab, cross, and jab. And notice how I'm turning into it. So this is my jab, my cross, and my jab right there. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. So once you get comfortable with this motion, this is a very long type of movement. This feels more like the way the kickboxers practice it, but 1, 2, 1. So get down that body mechanic properly, and then from there you can start making it more efficient. Okay, so right here. Focus more on the hand and the wrist areas. 1, 2, 1. So you're going like this, and this way you can kind of sneak it in right here. So, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. So, all right. So the other way to do it comes from the angles of attack. The angles of attack that we practice with the sticks and also the knives. We are creating all these different angles that we become very, very familiar with. What this is essentially, this is like a racetrack. It's a map that we're traveling through. We become so familiar with it, with all the different roads, all the different possibilities, that when I see an opponent, I could see that map and put it on them. So even if they're moving, the map kind of follows them, and I can see like, oh, right here with this angle, I just cut their wrist, or I just cut their hand, you know. It's almost like in red laser lines, I can see all the lines like that because I've traveled through that. I'm so familiar with it. I put in so much practice there that I could see the map onto my opponent. So kind of have like that kind of concept behind when you're practicing the angles of attack. Try to imagine a person behind those angles. So the main difference between a beginner and an advanced guy is that they're both doing the angles of attack. It's just that the way the beginner is doing, yes, the beginner knows the angles of attack. He's following that. Okay, he understands that. The advanced guy understands momentum. So the way he's traveling on the map, the way he's traveling on the racetrack is not the same. It's a lot more efficient. And because of it, he gets all kinds of benefits. So he already knows, like right here, I'm going to have to start curving. So he starts curving early, so it already takes him there, you know. Right here, he can come crashing down. And then right here, he needs to kind of build up the momentum to start coming up. And then he comes back down. You know, he understands the whole being efficient with his movement like that, all right? So that's the main difference, to become efficient and utilize momentum. So one of the primary examples is a beginner is doing a figure eight like this, right? So they're doing a figure eight. We practice the figure eight. It's a good exercise. Practice it with the sticks, practice with the knives. All right, the advanced guy, the way they do the figure eight is not like this. They go, that's their figure eight, like that. That's the figure eight. So we're going to be using that to the boxing now. Okay, so what we just did earlier, which was the jab, cross, jab motion right there. I'm going to utilize my elbow here to make this whip kind of motion for my jab right here. So boom, and same move over here. So see, that was a jab cross right there. So it's coming from here, and it's coming from the whip type motion. So that's why you see also with the sticks, we practice this kind of whip type motion. And I've seen some really good eskrima guys, Filipino martial arts guys, actually practice with flexible weapons and actually practice with a whip. Okay, so the idea here is to use a whip-like motion right here using the elbow. So as this goes, then I'm doing the second one right here. And really what's causing that is the shoulders right here. So this one goes boom, and then as this coming back, this shoulder's already launching, and once again using the elbow as the base to launch the whip-like punch. So it goes 1 and then 2 right here. Okay, I know we also do a number 3, but right now let's go ahead and put this arm behind our back, and let's just focus on this one right here. So with this one right here, we're doing this whip-like motion, and as this comes back, this arm's already punching, but like I said, right now we're not going to focus on it. But as this arm comes back, right, as this arm comes back, this shoulder is going to go forward. So as this is coming back, the shoulder goes forward and it propels it. It launches it forward. So that's kind of a different type of motion right here. So you could just practice that by yourself. Just go boom. So you bring it back this way and push your shoulder forward. So bring this arm back. So you're right here. Bring it back and push your shoulder forward. Boom. And you can kind of see that it's like a bouncy effect right here. Boom. It's kind of like doing something like this, like in basketball or something. So you're bringing it back, boom, and I'm launching it through my shoulder right there. So once again, the idea is here, this whip motion, and then launch it off the shoulder. So just practice that. Ignore this hand for right now and go whip, launch, whip, launch, whip, launch. So whip, launch. So get the motion down there, and now you can combine all 3 movements. So you're going boom, boom, boom. So from here, okay, so one way to cross train is you're going to see something that you like in another style and you grab it, right? You take it and then you add it to your own style. And then you see something else that you like, you take it and you add it to your own style, and you're kind of making like a Frankenstein's monster. You're putting together things that you like, right? So that's one way to do it. I think that's the most popular way. To me, a higher level, right? Because if you do that, you don't kind of get the full picture of that style. You're just, at that moment, at that brief moment, you just take something and then you're adding it. So you're not really getting the full practice, the full picture, you know, because sometimes that takes a long, long time. So I think a better way to cross train is you actually train in the other style, and as you train in it and as you develop in it, it actually helps you with what you're doing over here. And then sometimes you focus a little bit more over here, and then that actually, as you get better, will help you in turn over there. It's kind of weird, even though they seem totally different. But like in this case, the eskrima helps my boxing get a little better, and then I focus on the boxing, and that in turn helps my eskrima get a little better. So they kind of feed off of each other, and that's exactly what you want. What positive type of feeding off of each other, like a synergy thing, where they both can grow and expand. So to me, that is a higher level of cross-training, and that way it's not as disrespectful of going, I like this, but I don't like your other stuff, and I'm just going to take that. You know, it just seems a little disrespectful to me. So anyway, thank you for watching, and take care, folks.